Hi everyone, welcome to the third video in the tutorial series for Learn to Code 1 with Swift Playgrounds, where we'll be looking at functions. This first exercise requires us to turn right, and if you have a look at the options, we can see that there isn't a turn right option, so we need to find a way around that. Turning left 3 times is the same as turning right once, so we'll look in the code here and see that when we want to turn right, we simply turn left 3 times. I also want to remind you that the solutions I'm presenting in these videos are not necessarily the best or most efficient solution, they're just one way of solving the exercise. I encourage you to try your own solutions and see what other, possibly more efficient solutions you can come up with. Now we come to writing our own functions. If we look at the options, we can see that there isn't a turn right option once again, so we're going to create our own using the func keyword. We now know that turning right once is the same as turning left 3 times, so we create our function at the top and then call it in the main program below. So we can see func turn right and the turn left 3 times. In the main section of code below, we then have turn right, which can be replaced by turn left 3 times. So anytime we have turn right in our code, it's really turn left 3 times as defined in the function at the top. We could, anytime we type turn right, type turn left 3 times instead. However, this would make the program much longer. The functions allow us to reuse a bit of code over and over again and make the whole program much more readable. Now we come to creating a function of our own choice rather than the app telling us what function to do. This is the trickier part with functions because you need to work out what bit of code can be reused multiple times. If we examine the sides of the path here, we can see that it's nearly the same pattern on all 4 sides. An empty square, then a gem, then a switch, then an empty square which doubles as the beginning of the next side. However, we have 2 longer sides which are nearly the same as the short sides, but they have an additional empty square at the end. So we're going to need to tweak our code a little bit to cater for that. The short side function at the top will do everything we need for the shorter side. Because the long sides are the same as the short side to begin with, to cater for our long side, we simply run the short side function, and then we're going to insert an extra move forward. I've broken the code down here so you can see what's happening. So we'll hit run, and we can see that the first side, we simply run short side and then turn left. The second side is a longer one, so we have the additional move forward. The third side is a short side, and the fourth side, even though it's a long side, we don't need to reach the end of the path, so short side does the trick. So here we have one solution for across the board. I know that every side, when it loads, has a gem, a switch, another gem, and then another switch. So I've called my function side, and it caters for each of those 4 with a move forward in between. Then in the main program, all I need to do is sort out which way I'm turning. So to get onto each side, I start off with a move forward, then I run a side, then I'm going to need to turn right, move forward, and turn right to turn around at the end of the side. Then I need to do the same thing at the other end, turn left, move forward, turn left, and then once again turn right, move forward, turn right at the end of the third side. So we'll see him executing that now. As I mentioned before, this is just one of the possible solutions. There's many different possible answers, and I encourage you to try your own, make it more efficient, see what functions you can come up with, and post a screenshot of your own answer in the comment section below. Now we're going to look at multiple functions. So far we've only had one function, we've only written one function, and inside that function we've only called existing commands that the app already had built into it. So now we're going to have multiple functions, and we can call our first function from our second function that we're writing. The instructions here tell us to define solve stare using turnaround. So we can see that the 4 stares around byte are a repetitive pattern, meaning I can hopefully create a piece of code to be used 4 times. We can see that it's going to be move forward, collect gem, turn around, move forward, and then turn left, ready to do it all again. Down in the main part of my program, I've called solve stare 4 times, so let's see it in action. This next exercise, slotted stairways, is using everything we've learned so far. When we examine this pathway, we can see that there's lots of repetition happening, albeit slightly disguised by the stairs. Moving forward twice, collecting a gem, turning around, and moving forward twice back to the center is something we can use 6 times. Then we have a function asking us to solve a row, and a row can be solved by collecting a gem and returning to the center twice. So that's that first function twice. Then we need to move into the next row and turn around ready to start again. Then our main program only needs to call solve row 3 times for each of the rows. So we can see him solving the second row, moving into the third row, and finishing up. And finally, we reach the last exercise in the functions model. We now have the opportunity to create as many functions as we like. If you haven't attempted this challenge yet, I recommend you pause the video and give it a go before looking at my solution. Welcome back. If you paused the video, now we'll go through my solution, which is just one of many, many possible solutions. The first thing I wanted to be able to do was to turn around, so that's my first function, turn around. Then I looked more closely at the path and saw that there were lots of alternating switches and blank squares. So I created a 2-square function where I move forward twice and then toggle the switch. Then I decided to break my solution down into 2 rows. The short row can be solved using 2 squares, turn around, and then 2 squares. The long row can be solved with 2 move forwards, 2 squares, turn around, and then 4 lots of 2 squares. All my main program had to do is call short row, turn around, 2 squares, turn left, and run the long row. This certainly isn't the only or best solution. I encourage you to improve mine, or even better, create an original solution. That's the end of the functions module. I hope you enjoyed this video. Post your own solutions in the comments, and I look forward to reading them.